We're live, Miss Sue. How are you?
I'm great. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you.
Thank you. Happy Memorial Day to you too.
I guess, how is it at your end of the beach up there?
I've been here in Tidewater all morning, so I don't even know.
Well, you're
I
better
know
off
I know
staying
yesterday there were a lot of new arrivals in town. So
in. Right, right.
how about your end?
Uh, Roads are busy.
Yeah.
544 is busy, and 501, of course. So all the roads bypass. Business 17 is real busy. So
Oh, is it?
real busy. Yep. Hmm.
Well, hopefully it'll. I'm have my prayers that I just hope it's a safe weekend for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we're going to jump right into today. We were talking about, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about how important it is for agents to start getting reviews online. Seems like that is becoming a trend now, and people are actually searching out there for everybody. So, what are your thoughts, and what are you saying?
Yeah, it's I think the beginning of the tipping point for real estate and reviews is starting to happen. I did a class on this actually last week at the CCAR on the whole topic, and of course we with our 15 minutes we won't be able to cover all of it, but I know we thought this was a good topic because of the response I got in the class and since then
Hmm.
from various people. I've been watching the trend for a couple of years, and what surprised me the very most, I was at an event in Greensboro about a month and a half or 2 months ago, and the main guy from Realtor.com was there, and he did a complete presentation on the goal being promoting Realtor.com's agent profile page, which has this whole review platform built right into it for free. Um, and of course Zillow has one as well, and then there's a couple of other sites that are starting to become a little more popular, but I thought it was well overdue. My belief has been that this process has been going on for a good year at least, and although it's not mainstream yet, and when I say that, I'm saying only about 60% of consumers are currently paying attention to this.
Hmm.
It got to 60% very, very quickly in the last year. And once you start getting trends moving like that, they typically sort of kind of really take off. Meaning, one of the pieces of data the guy from Realtor.com shared was that a little over 60% of all consumers now are going to be looking at realtors' reviews and how their reputation online is prior to choosing one of them.
Okay.
And um, so we can talk a little bit about it from a, just a how important it is standpoint. It's one of these areas again that although it's probably been a little more active than the video stuff that we've been trying to push everybody into, Ms. Sue, for several years,
Right,
uh,
right.
trying to help get the ones that are starting to do stuff ahead of the game. Although it's still probably a little bit of time on that if you start now, but this is still one of those places that if you do it now, most realtors really, if they have anything, it's really not done well, and a lot of them still don't. But if I share my screen, I can kind of show you a few things that were from the class, at least parts of it, that'll, I think, kind of put things in perspective and give, I think, our guests and viewers, whether they're on live or looking at this recording, I think they'll get a feel for why we're pushing it as such an important thing to pay attention to and get on top of. So,
Right, right. Well, I was on Zillow and Trulia just kind of researching a little bit on this, and I was surprised that I didn't see more agents' reviews,
right,
really.
right,
So even for our local area, and then I started looking outside other areas, and it seems again more prominent in the other larger cities where the agents definitely have more profile views and comments. So um, I'm not sure whether we just don't know to ask for it. When we're done with the transaction, asking them, do you mind putting it in writing? Here, log on to Zillow, or do you mind if a lot of times in the olden days, like I used to ask people to write a letter,
right.
and then I would say with a disclaimer that I could use that without their full names, just maybe their first and last names. in my website,
Right.
wherever. So I just wonder if maybe agents just aren't asking for the reviews in writing and directing them where to go.
I think it's all the above, and everything from just not knowing how important it is and not recognizing how people are actually finding the realtor. Um, I'm going to quickly just share my screen and show you a couple things, and we can talk through it. And
Okay.
I think this will, let's see here. Hopefully I'll be able to show a couple things here. So where are we? I want to go here. So can you see that Google Trends screen?
No, all I see is you still frozen on the screen.
Well, I'm gonna trust that
Okay.
that it's going through properly. It looks like it is on my end, so we're gonna assume. Basically, what I got up on the screen, Miss Sue, is a Google. I pulled up Google Trends. If you ever want
Okay.
to check out anything and kind of what's happening with any particular anything on the in this
Right.
world, you can type in a term there, and what I put in was Realtor Reviews, and it kind of shows the trend, and basically it shows that around in 2007 is when this sort of started to kind of start getting some traction.
Right.
Look at the graph all the way up through 2005, you'll see it's kind of an upward trend and climbing, and I believe within the next year, if you've ever um, uh, read a book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Tipping Point. They talk about when big players start to put in their I guess 5 cents on the subject, and they start doing things around the subject. This thing is about ready to take off. And so, although every other industry in most cases has been highly infiltrated, if you want to call it, by reviews, sites like Yelp, etc. The
Right.
realtor side of it has kind of lagged quite far behind for a long time, but that's not the case anymore. And so this graph kind of shows you that it's starting to really take off. The next thing I'll show you, let me grab another page here.
So where are agents? Where should they be getting these reviews published?
Well, you've just led me beautifully into my next 3 slides. Thank you so much. That was an excellent question.
we didn't even practice that. Wow.
No, we're in simpatico. We've done so many together. I think we know what
Right.
each other's thinking. But the first one I'm showing here is Realtor.com,
Okay.
and they've put together an entire place for agents to put in their agent profile, for them to pull in their reviews, and automatically, once you set the agent profile up and you start doing the process, and by the way, I'll put some links to this in the description of this video where we put it on the site and on YouTube, so anybody watching will be able to find that link. But when you're in there, you can do a couple of things. Number one, besides putting your information in, you can automatically connect to Real Satisfied, which is a real estate review site. You can automatically connect to LinkedIn and pull in your recommendations. And so it'll pull them all over for you. And then you can decide which one or all of those that you would like to be displayed on your Realtor.com profile. So that's up to you. And then on top of that, you can also manually enter any reviews that you've gotten, maybe like in your example, if you've got them in a letter or in an email sitting somewhere or whatever, you can manually also put those reviews in. And then within the system, you can share your reviews and also request reviews from current clients or past clients. So it's a very robust and well set up system. The last time I looked at the detail of it, they even allowed you to control which reviews were visible and which ones were not, meaning you could say anything that comes in that's 4-star and above is visible, anything lower won't be, so you have a chance to sort of interact with the client and see if you can help improve that review.
Nice. Okay.
Stuff like that. But that's Realtor.com. That's one of them. The next one or another one is Zillow, and again, there's a link that'll bring you directly to this page. But it's a same kind of idea. Create a free agent profile in 7 easy steps. They walk you through it in great detail. And then I also have a tab here for Real Satisfied. They have a free version there as well. and they also have some paid options. But again, another place for you to pull in your reviews and things like that. So
Cool.
yeah, so those are all good. And then a couple of other things. I'll pull a couple of examples that the Realtor.com gentleman shared. We were talking about this beforehand a little bit, Miss Sue. You know, should we show some examples locally, etc.? Well, I thought, well, let's just start with just some generic examples.
Yeah.
Here's how people get searched for. Like, if you can imagine somebody who already knows you, and they're a direct referral, meaning they know you, they're probably not going to go through this process the same way. But if they do, let me rephrase that. They probably will do the similar process, or at least 60% of them will. But for a person who doesn't know you and they just kind of saw something of yours, etc., they're going to do something like this. And I'm going to use my name as an example. Like if I was a realtor, somebody would type in my name, and if they couldn't find, if I had a common name like Dave Smith or any common name where there's a bunch of people will show up when you do a search, they're going to usually add another word onto the end of my name to figure out if it's me. And the most common next word, at least in real estate, would be the word realtor. So somebody would put Pierre Rattini, realtor, for example. And if they still couldn't find me and they knew I was in Myrtle Beach, they'd probably put in my city. And typically they would find me. Now, because I'm the only Pierre Rattini in the entire world, I'm easy to find, but that's not the case for most people.
Right.
But here's an example on the board. It's Tristan Amuda. She happens to be a Keller Williams real estate agent. When you put just her name in, all the first things that show up happen to be her. So she's got, not a very common name, so that certainly helps. The next example I have here is somebody called Rose Mary Allison. Now that's probably a little more common, but she's a very active real estate agent, and you can see by the pictures that come up. And I would say the only one possible that may not be her is the fifth picture in. But all the initial, she's a Coldwell Banker real estate agent. All of the initial links that are showing on this page, I believe, are all her. The other thing to note here, by the way, is besides her own personal website and her company's website links are showing here, also ones from Zillow and the Realtor.com. Those things have, heavy weight when it comes to SEO. And besides the obvious reason of getting your agent profile up, so if people are looking for you online, they can find some good information about you, they also help you get found.
Right.
Those are a couple things there. And
now,
then
Google Plus today.
Yeah.
Just on a quick question. Google Plus, do they have you can do agent reviews on there as well, correct?
Sure. Yeah. On your Google Plus page, you can absolutely. Yeah. Facebook, you can have on your Facebook page, you can do reviews. On your Google Plus, a lot of your social profiles have the ability for you to collect reviews as well. So I would absolutely recommend collect them from your clients the way it's easiest for them. And if you can't, if it's not from a place like LinkedIn and Real Satisfied where you can automatically pull the feed in, have them put it there, and then you manually transfer it over, have your assistant type it in for you. But make it as easy for your client as possible to give you the review, and then you put it in as many places.
That's why I think at closing, that to me is the easiest way when you're sitting with them, is just to ask them or say, do you want to fill this form out, create a form for them to fill out, just hand it to them at closing, or just give them a website. Well, if you don't mind going to this website, but chances are, if you don't get it right then and there, it's not going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah, well,
you have somebody really gaga over you.
I agree with you. I think make it as simple and as easy as possible to ensure you get the review. And then once you have it, I don't think it hurts to go back and just ask them to review you in some other places if you think they're open to it. Part of good service to your clients, if you just overwhelm them with not only great service through the process of selling or helping them buy a home, but you overwhelm them with additional great service after the fact, your chance of getting a review is easy.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, that's not the common. That's not the common practice. But if the real estate agents that step out and above the average response, I tell you, overservice your clients as much as you do when they're in the process of buying or selling. Do just as much or more after. I'm telling you, the amount of reviews you'll get and the amount of, if you ask for a favor, they'll gladly help you. It all comes down to reciprocity and a person just feeling like, hey, you've done more than your share for me. I am happy to help you. I think then it becomes very, very
Right.
simple. So that's
Yep,
Rosemary.
it's all about that relationship. That's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my last little tidbit here I'll share with you is another easy place to get a recommendation, and very trusted, by the way, because LinkedIn is deemed as probably the most trusted of all the social platforms, is if you go on LinkedIn and ask for a recommendation there, if you happen to be connected with that client there, it'll automatically, through at least the Realtor.com agent profile, you can automatically pull that thing right on over. So, and again, that's a pretty easy place for them to fill in a review. So, yeah, let me stop sharing my screen here so we can see our faces. So there we are.
Well, I don't know what's going to
still be
happen.
frozen on your end. I don't know.
I still see your frozen face, so we'll find out. We'll have to play it back and see what happens. But
absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, we never know if I'm frozen. Hopefully, I'm frozen in some goofy position.
There you go.
But
well, I think that's it. That's great tips for today on the profiles, and I just hope that agents will watch this and get some great ideas and figure out the best way to either ask for it at closing or at least follow it up in an email with direct links, because that'll help too. If you can make it as easy as possible for someone to do it, they're more apt to do that. So absolutely. I know even when I get like a survey after you have your car serviced, if I get that email survey and all I have to do is hit yes or no and click it back, I'm good. But if I have to sit and fill a form out, put it in an envelope or do something like that, I'm more apt not to do something like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Make it as easy as possible. So
yeah,
but
agree.
Anyhow, we are at the almost 20 after that time, and we will be here again next Friday at 12 o'clock for our QFF, and we will post again what our topic will be. I'm not sure what it'll be next week. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free. We'll post this on the website, and you can put your comments in there about what you'd like to hear about on these Quickfire Fridays. So Pierre, be safe up there at your end of the turf on the Memorial Day, and have a happy holiday.
Thank you, you too. Thanks, everybody, and post your questions and comments even in the YouTube channel or on the bottom of the website, and we'll make sure we address them on the next one. So have a great weekend, Miss Sue.
Perfect. You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.